Listen, be weird and be proud to be weird. You know, this is it. If you're going to be extraordinary in any way in life, you will be seen as weird. That is just it. I can promise you this. You're not going to be extremely successful, highly effective as an adult, make great money, and live a wonderful life, just a wonderfully extraordinary life being normal. You won't. You will absolutely positively be fucking seen as weird by most people. Most people. And a good degree of those people will judge you for being weird. They'll never amount to anything that you'll amount to, right? They'll just kind of live normal lives. Maybe they're fine, right? But they won't do anything extraordinary. They will see you as weird. And then there will be people, rare few, who recognize you might be exceptionally good at this, or this, or this, that you have a whole lot of tenacity, otherwise known as balls, to go and execute, be outspoken in your life and do great things. And those people will admire and respect you. And then a rare few within that subset will ask you how you've done it. Yeah. But most people are stuck in a place where it's like everybody thinks they know everything. You know, there are a lot of arrogant people, and the more arrogant people are typically the people that aren't weird, that are very normal, that have to be imprisoned by a socially expected behavior that they fucking conform and adhere to because they don't want to be judged. Those are the arrogant people typically. Don't relinquish your zest and your creativity and your spark and your uniqueness, because you will be effectively a pariah for being weird, for being different, unique, creative, and all that stuff. You're going to be a pariah. It's going to be hard for you to relate to people because people want to talk about very surface level bullshit, and it's fucking maddening, and it's going to be maddening to you. I always had trouble making friends back in Bethlehem, where I lived prior to living in Pittsburgh, because, you know, people really, I mean, to say it in a real streetwise way, nobody was about shit. Nobody was about shit, you know. But I guess the more diplomatic way would be people were living very ordinary lives without the propensity to use their brains at higher echelons to be extraordinary or challenge themselves to learn new things and do things that are out of the ordinary. So it was hard for me to sit down with them at the local pub and have conversations, because I'd want to have conversations that were intellectually stimulating. I'd want to talk about physiology. I'd want to talk about money. I'd want to talk about growth. I'd want to talk about personal development. I want to talk about all that shit. You know, they'd want to talk about, you know, the Eagles. It's just the same surface level bullshit. I honestly, it drove me fucking crazy. It drove me crazy. So that's the kind of thing you're going to run into, because it's hard to relate to people if you are weird. If you are, as we were when we were kids, just able to express yourself creatively, you didn't have much of a function in your head that was going, wait a minute, don't do that because fucking Johnny over here or Alice might think you're weird. I don't have that function. You don't have that function. So it allows you, therefore, to break out of the prison that some of those folks exist in, that most folks exist in, which prevents them from being great in life. It allows you to be great in life. So honor your weirdness. Honor your weirdness. Stick around only the select few that recognize your weirdness as good and extraordinary. Be unorthodox, not because you want to be unorthodox, but because it's a natural byproduct of thinking creatively, using your brain more, being thorough with everything you do, and usually in most cases having a high level of intelligence. You're just gonna be a little contrarian, right? You're going to seem like the weird one, and people are going to judge you. I did this weird thing with the casinos, right? Here's something I've never actually told anyone exactly how I do it, and I won't break down my effective strategy because I'm not sure that that's going to be good for playing at the casinos. They would not want to know what I don't want them knowing what I know. I have won loads of money from the casino over the past year, effectively, right? 2026 for me has been $100,000 a year. That's profit. Yeah, I can show you my stat sheet. DraftKings, Rivers Online, MGM, Golden Nugget, a couple land casinos. I've made effectively a high-paying salary. I paid salary just from the casinos on top of my business. Now, here's the thing about judgment and weirdness. Some people think like I'm an irresponsible gambler. I've hit $30,000 hits. I've hit $60,000 hits. I've hit, 12K hits, 5K hits, 2K hits, these kind of things. And I've posted them, on the web. And I've gotten a little bit of blowback from people that think like I've turned into a gambler. Let me just be clear. Gambling is a stupid idea. Gambling assumes you're playing a game which you don't understand. Do you think that professional blackjack players, who, by the way, make a C-suite level salary if they're good, go to play blackjack and do $200 a hand or $500 a hand or $1,000 a hand and think, oh, maybe today it'll go well. Of course not. That's gambling. These guys have played 50,000 hands plus. They know what to expect from the game. There aren't situations in which, especially if they're controlling the house's conditions, the conditions of the house that has to increase their personal edge, there aren't situations in which they're confused about what to do. They generally know how to beat the casino and make money from blackjack, right? That's called a variety of different things. Professional blackjack players. There's also advantage play and a few other titles that's given to intelligent play to beat the casino based on extreme skill and a thorough deep dive on the games that you're playing, as well as what usually is a high degree of intellect. People that are able to beat the casino are savants in various ways. And I figured out with a particular flavor of high limit progressives, but no other machines. There are machines that I will not touch because I don't know how they play. I don't understand them. But I figured out how to largely beat the casino, right? I've reduced my risk about 90%, which is what professional, successful gamblers do. Yeah. If anybody wants to see my stat sheet, like I've gotten weird blowback from that, please email me, ryan@livecortex.com, or text me if you know my number, or message me on Facebook. I will show you my stat sheet. I'll show you the profit and loss. I do lose, but rarely these days, rarely. I am up substantially on the casinos, and I will fucking show you if you need to see it. So people think I'm weird about that. You know, they don't ask me, hey, how did you do this? Oh, it must be that he's just winning and not showing the losses. Must have lost more than he won, or just profoundly lucky. Neither of those things are true. And if neither of those things are true, that must mean I have a strategy and know what I'm doing. But I think people underestimate you. That's one of the other things about being weird you're going to recognize. People in their all-knowing wisdom think that they're exceptionally smart or exceptionally good or whatever, and that no one could possibly figure out, in this case, you know, how to beat the casinos. You're wrong. You're wrong. Plenty of people beat the casinos. Plenty of people beat the casinos, right? Rather than ask you, they just pass judgment. They pass judgment on your weirdness. I found a way, you know, to make a lot of money from the casinos. I'm being judged for it. It's because you don't understand. If you have the cognitive capacity, and if you have the fucking patience, and if you're able to suspend your personality, your arrogant personality, for just about an hour, I'll explain everything to you. I'll explain everything to you, but I don't need to. It's not my obligation. It's not my obligation, right? And I know, you know, being a successful person, it's like I sat down with a real estate guy who was doing really successful. The reason I sat down with him or was interested in talking with him is because he pulled up in a Maserati at a restaurant I was at. I'm like, what the fuck does he do? I sat down, you know, he was eating dinner with his woman, so I was respectful about it. And I was like, can you just explain to me what you do? How do you afford that car? And this was like 10 years ago. Because the type of people that are extraordinary, weird, or use their brains more, have relinquished all that weird psychological Freudian fucking behavior. If someone's doing something different and extraordinary or weird, they want to know how. So they'd ask regarding the casino stuff. Fucking ask me. If you have the cognition to follow me, I'll explain everything. But that's a point within a point. Be weird. Be proud of being weird. You're going to be profoundly misunderstood. Profoundly. And it's going to bother you, especially in the beginning, but as you get used to it over time, you recognize all the things that I just said. This is normal stuff. I'm not trying to please everybody. That's impossible. I want only the people that understand me, are like me, think like me in my circle. I want people who criticize and judge from afar without understanding any of the nuance of how I am, what my history is like, why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want those people nowhere near me. Honestly, it's like driving on the highway when like someone's riding your ass and just being just get the fuck away from me. Please get the fuck away from me and go live your boring, modest fucking life. I don't even want to talk to you. Be exceptional. Be okay with that. Over time, yeah, you get okay with the fact that you're not... It's not that you're a fucking pariah, but that you're not in the cool kid crowd or whatever. You're in your own cool kid crowd, you know? I'm in the cool kid crowd of people that drive fucking $130,000 cars and have loads of money and have been making money and are able to do anything because their minds say they can do it. That's the crowd I'm in. I love that fucking crowd. I really dislike the other crowd of normies who drink too fucking much and party when they're in their 50s. Do you fucking think I want anything to do with that? No, and you shouldn't either. Be weird. Be extraordinary. Be different. Be fucking proud of it. You have permission. Let's go.